Welcome. The purpose of this video is to walk you through how to use the AR Custom Edit report screen. So let me give you a scenario before we enter this menu selection. I have a piece of information on a series of accounts or parts. We have this report available in inventory as well, but I have a field on my AR, or a series of fields, that need to be adjusted with a particular value. So I can either create an Excel sheet, I can enter the information in the Excel sheet and then import it daily, weekly, monthly, depending on how often I'm receiving information, or I can go through the F3A screens, so my AR screens. I can turn on tabs on the fields that need to be adjusted, and I can enter the information, save it, click the function key to move to the next account, and then the tabs will either bring me to the fields I need to edit, or I'd need to click on those fields individually. So from what I'm explaining, you can tell that it's not hard, but it's a little kludgy to go about doing these processes of updating a single field of information, especially if the information going into those fields is the same. A scenario where I might do this in AR is if I wanted to update email addresses, or in this case my example is going to be I want to update the tax exempt numbers for any accounts that are currently sent to be exempt. I'm going to use this new program instead. I'm going to go into F, the AR management, number 5, standard reports, letter B, the accounting menu, and then number 6, custom AR edit. I'm going to type in my clerk code, and I can save library jobs in here if I'd like to. I've already saved a job, so I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to go through this job with you. I'm first directed to the selection options. In this case, I'm going to press the home key, and I'm simply going to go through the screens top down. I'll get back to that selection options in a minute. So my report options. Same as your other report generator screens, in the upper left, you are able to adjust the date if you choose to. The report title, I can type in anything I want. In this case, I'm adjusting the tax exempt field, so I'm going to put that in as my title. Do I want to run the report in the background? I can, but that defeats the purpose of this program. This program is going to bring up a report screen for me that's editable. So instead of me having to go from record to record to record to make any adjustments, I can do it all on one screen. So can you run this in the background? Absolutely. You can use this as a regular report screen, but that's not the purpose of this particular menu selection. So I'm going to leave that as a no, and I'm going to click on the Home to Return button. So the next button, the print options, again, I have the ability to print it to a printer, print it to or send it to an email, but that's not the point here. The point is to do this adjusting on my screen. So I'm going to leave screen my option. Totals only, again, not the point. I want to leave that as a no so I can see each line of detail and adjust them as I need to. Now, the real meat and potatoes of this particular program is this output format, because what I'm able to do here is I'm able to enter the fields the same way I would in any other report generator screen, with the columns being where I'd like them to be. So account number is first, account name is second, and then tax 1, my first tax code, is third. But you'll notice that this alter field is now available, and I've put a yes in the alter field for tax 1, meaning I'd like to be able to alter, perhaps, the information that's in my tax 1 field on each of the accounts that displays on my report. Same with tax 2, and same with my tax exempt. Remember, that's kind of my purpose here, is to adjust those tax exempt values. I can add more fields if I want to. I have no reason to do that here. If I'm not sure of my field letters, I can always click on the help down here, and that'll give me my list of my available fields. I'm going to click on the Home to Return button, and then this Home to Return button in the lower left. My selection options, my third box down. So in this case, I'm adjusting anybody who is tax exempt or their tax exempt number. So I'm putting that I want their my selection criteria to filter only those accounts where the tax 1 field is currently set to exempt. Obviously, I'm going to miss a couple of people that might be taxable now and that need to change, but this is my criteria here. Now, I can always use additional criteria if I'd like to as well. I'm not going to do that right at this point. I'm going to click on the Home to Return key. Calculations, I have no reason for calculations here, so I'm not going to do anything with that. And then update or sort options, I have nothing to update, I have nothing to sort, I have no subtotals that I need, so I'm going to leave those alone as well. I can save this job if I want to, which I would suggest if this is something that you may do regularly by clicking that F10 to save the parameters button. I've called my library selection TXE, which is the field that I'm populating. I'm going to press the Enter key to save that. I may or may not get this option already exists. If I'm creating a new report, I want to make sure I don't overwrite an old one, but if I'm just replacing the report that I had already saved, I can absolutely click on the yes here. Remember to press your Enter key 3 times through that information to resave this job. I'm going to click the Enter key to begin, and this is what I was trying to get when I was creating this report. So the buttons at the bottom look very familiar. F1 to go to the prior page, F2 to go to the next page, F6 to go to my last page. The new button is this F9 to alter. When I click on the F9 to alter key, notice that my cursor is now blinking in my primary tax code field. This is the first field that I had set to editable yes. So I can go through these fields. I can press the Enter key and go to the field I want to, and I'm going to adjust the information that already exists in the field. So this guy has a new tax exempt number for the year. This one has a new exempt number for the year. This one has a new exempt number, and so on. Perhaps, okay, now you'll notice that my transfer accounts are in this list. I could have used my filters to remove that one. But even more, perhaps this account is no longer exempt, so I can change my tax code information there so that this person is now not exempt, they're now taxable. So I can adjust any of the information that I set at editable, and instead of having to do this through Microsoft Excel or scanning through record to the next record to the next record, I can display it all in one page. It makes this process a lot faster and a lot easier. At the bottom, my Home to Command button is displayed. When I click on that, it takes my cursor off of the information. I'm going to press the Escape key, and now if I go back into my accounts, I'm going to go to the B page, press my Enter key, and you'll notice now my tax exempt numbers have changed to those new values. Now, the really great portion of this report screen is one other function that I didn't show you yet. I'm going to go back into that menu selection, F5, B, and then 6, Custom AR Edit. And I'm going to bring up that same job that I had just used, the TXE Tax Exempt Update. There are no adjustments that I need to make right now, so I'm going to press the Home key to get off of my selection criteria, and I'm going to press the Enter key or my Return key to begin the report. Now I'm going to press the F9 key, and let's just say, for example, that I had separate tax codes for my primary and my secondary, like you see here, and I no longer want that information to display that way. I'd like to be exempt across the board for both tax codes, and please refer back to AR as to why you even have 2 tax codes. If you look at the bottom of the screen right now, one of my buttons is F5 to copy. So I'm going to click on the F5 to copy button, or I can press my F5 key on my keyboard, and it's going to ask me what the value is that I want to copy. Now, since this column that I'm living on, that my cursor is sitting on right now, is a 1 character column, that's the only box that you're going to see on the screen. If it was multiples, you would see a longer box there where my cursor is blinking. And I'm going to change this to an E as an echo, meaning that both my primary and my secondary tax code for this particular customer are going to be changed to an E. If you look at the bottom of the screen now, my F6 to paste button is available. So I can either click on that button or simply press my F6 function key, and it's going to change each of those to the value that I wanted to basically paste into that field, and move my cursor down to the next appropriate location for that paste. I'm going to press the F6 key again. Now maybe I didn't want to change this guy, so I press my Enter key. I get back to my paste column area, and I'm going to press the F6 function key again, and it moves me down F6, F6, F6. So I was able to make this adjustment very quickly in this area. Once I've gotten off of the screen, I just press my Escape key, and now all of my accounts, save the one I skipped, are now set to have the exempt value in both tax code 1 and tax code 2. Now, we do have a program in the system that's called the stuffing job, and that goes and that stuffs a value into fields, but it's not something that you can do while you're watching it. You almost have to trust the system, and you do it blindly. This way, you can go in, you can make the adjustments that you want to make. The best example of doing this in the system, I think, is the one that we actually have in the inventory. Perhaps I'm moving stock from one shelf to another, and I need to change the zone information for certain parts that got moved. So I could pull up the information where the zone is currently the prior zone, and then I could populate and change the zone field on any of the parts that are moving. Maybe not all of them are moving, so I wouldn't want to stuff the information because I need to know which parts are moving off of the shelf and which of those are staying there. So this is a really, really helpful new program that we have in the system, and it should assist you with adjusting a field or multiple fields across the board in your accounting or in your inventory when adjustments need to be made, but you kind of need to babysit the information that you're entering as opposed to just stuffing it all with the stuffing program. If you have any questions on how this works, or you want to make sure that you have someone on the phone the first time you try it, please call us at 800-829-4722. You can also send us an email at sbctraining@autolog.com. Thank you for your time.